They're in the morgue. Here we are in the morgue, and this is kind of a fun moment of the pilot scene here. This scene reminds me of Ash versus Evil Dead, and Abby's screams in this scene are actually priceless. I do love them. They're actually amazing. I was blown away by this because of she just lets out this like belt. It's I mean, it's terrifying, but it's also like almost in some ways, you know, kind of musical. She's just like but you believe it. It's a throwback. It's right out of an 80s horror movie. She belts it out like she is going to die, and the terror invades our comfort zones, catapulting us into the scene. The aftermath of that sequence in the morgue is very believable. She reiterates that she is pretty taken up by seeing a reanimated or awakened corpse with a swamp vine. And so they go to the bar. Apparently news travels fast in Murray because they have already caught wind of what has happened at the hospital. They are well aware. Liz Tremaine, played by Maria Sten, is a journalist who works at the local paper. She's very interesting. She was an old friend of Liz's. I enjoy these small town stories because you are able to capture a well-written story with diverse characters who lead extremely different lives to offer many different perspectives. So, I mean, I think it's great. It's an old school way of understanding things because you have just a bunch of people in this small town. So it makes it just really fun. When Ms. Sunderland comes to reapply the guilt that had perhaps thinned a little over the years, it is laid on thick. She comes at Abby with all she's got, with the gloves off. This scene is quite compelling, but is awkward how Alec and Liz just watch them instead of engaging in their own conversation. So that was weird. It was an extremely powerful scene, though, and Abby produces involuntary tears, making us feel horrible for the death of a character we have never seen before. So that in of itself was really cool. I was just blown away. I am really blown away by Abby's presence, her character development, her ability to cry in just this open dispersion of tears, just an absolute onslaught of tears, and you feel it. You really feel her need to succeed in this, to become better, to tackle this insane thing that they're up against. So okay, so the cold open in the Skeeter Cove. So this is we're just coming back to the cold open crime scene in Skeeter Cove, and finally we get to see the swamp spire created by the vines of jutting death, who had come up from the depths. We get a more me Matrix moment here when we first see Alec Holland searching the plateaued boat for some evidence or clues. This also brings us back to Murder She Wrote or Columbo moments when he was, because he described how he was obsessed with that earlier. And Alec loves mysteries. Alec finds a laptop bag and hands it to Abby. This was cool because Alec then sees a flight case of some kind. It's clearly a covered flight case. If you don't know what a flight case is, it's just kind of this big, it can be big, it can be small. It's just a hard plastic case that carry equipment, whether carry camera equipment, musical equipment, video equipment, whatever. Usually used on a flight. So then he sees that flight case of some kind. It's clearly covered and wedged. This is a really interesting part that I don't know if the average person watching this show really kind of noticed this. I don't know if they're going to really expound on this or expand on this or really kind of allow this to become a huge part of the story, but I am clearly intrigued by this. He sees a flight case of some kind. It is clearly covered and wedged in between the debris. This is objective storytelling. As he pushes himself up above and tries to pry the case loose, I'm reminded of War of the Worlds. because what happens is it just out of nowhere this thing comes down and just, and it's just the three, it's just the three, fingers or toes or whatever, just, and they're right there on this thing, and it's the most bizarre. It's just bizarre because that's what it reminded me of the world's legs of the tripod beings, tripedal. Yes, wow, this vine has 3 toes, fingers, whatever, just like an alien species. It stops him saying more me, me, me. More me, me, me. It apparently has an understanding of what that is, of what this is. This substance provides this entity with life, consciousness, perhaps euphoria. Maybe it makes it smarter, or just simply makes it feel good. It's like you have no idea because it's in the case. It's basically stopping. What's happening here is it's stopping the case from being taken out. It's just don't take my heroin.
I am the one who knocks.
Type of thing. So that's kind of what's going on with the swamp. The swamp is enjoying its treat. It's enjoying its little treat. Its little goodness that it's been getting from the gentlemen who were killed by it. So that's another interesting point too. It's now we're trying to guess the motivations of the swamp and all these things, and that's another whole other thread that could be brought about here. The second they get back from the cabin, after finding the underwater release mechanism, there is almost awkwardness. They can't stop being bored with themselves or each other. They are both scientists, occupied in their own thoughts. While they wait, there is true character building. So this part is cool because they do see, they're at this point they're kind of bored with each other. Not necessarily, they're just being scientists, and they're just kind of whatever. They're just, okay, yeah, I'm here, you're here, cool. This scene is amazing because we get to see our two important people, our protagonists, unveil their most horrific mistakes. So this was really cool. This was very interesting because once again it reinforces the reason that they're there, and Alec and it's cool. It's interesting even more too because like Alec's not even from there, and so he ends up in this situation. He's like not even from there. So anyway. Of course, when these mistakes are unveiled, we find out that Alec manipulated data to better prove his conclusion. He still stood by what he found, although he wanted to be recognized by his work. And now he is now known for the fabrication. It was the mutagen study. So that is why why he is working for a man who is apparently broke and hiring people to transfer loans for other accounts. So the important thing is to illustrate here is that he emphasizes that the joy is in the discovery, not in the publishing results. They are both, so it's not like he did this fabrication for any particular status or anything like that. It wasn't anything like, it wasn't, him, flexing or whatever, trying to show off in any way, shape, or form. He had this really strong belief of what he had discovered, or maybe I don't know. So you do get a sense of the genuine qualities of his character there. Okay, not in the public. So they are both intertwined in this because of Avery Sutherland. That's Avery Sunderland, our Southern gentleman character. This is truly important. Wow, I hadn't realized the depth of this relationship. Her telling her of the cliffhanger story is interrupted slightly by the test results, and she reveals that she killed her best friend, the daughter who we will killed her best friend, the daughter who we will see return as an apparition in future episodes. Alec decides to go find the other dispersion locations, and when he does, he is confronted by the guy who shoots him. This is a true tragedy because as Alec is becoming the very thing that will define him, his work, he is being sought after by Abby. So she is... she's looking for him. She can stop him. She can stop this from happening. She can stop him from becoming this thing. And right after that, she is alerted to his location and situation by the explosion. So that was very interesting. As Alec emerges from the water, it is truly great because we can't tell if he is even coherent or even aware of what he has become, or even knows what he looks like. She is terrified. And the score right here is actually reminiscent of, yes, the X-Files and Terminator. It has elements of Terminator with the sliding and decrescendos, with the business there. So yes, that's my official musical analysis. Take that to the bank. No, the X-Files music part of it is actually, it's mimicking, I think it's just a synthesizer sound, but it's mimicking the back of the violin bow where the frog is. That's called the frog. The back of the it's the dial that holds that. That's actually being messed around with on the bridge of the violin, and that's where you get that. Anyway, that's where you get that sound from. So anyway, not that you care. Just kidding. I'm sure you do. It's interesting and fun stuff. Like, I love cinematic music. It's pretty interesting stuff. And for whatever that's worth, someday I want to compose music for films. So as Alec emerged from the water, we don't know what's going on there. It's really interesting. So yeah, this whole thing is it's Terminator and X-Files music. It's crazy. Alec stumbles and falls to a resting moment with his glowing red eyes. So that concludes this episode. That's episode 1. I hope you had fun with it. Please join me for episode 2. They're going to be